Right, this is not far from Pond 4. Pond 4 is in there, and this again is back on the river road, and that's the river. Trying to hang on to everything all at once, and that's where we've come. And our sidekick here is looking cool in a new set of glasses. Yeah. Basically all this willow that Neil's walking on now is going to be pushed off to the side, and then we're going to dig from over there and plonk it all up on the top. So it's quite a bit of work, but yeah, we've just come past the river. You can see that low spot in there. Yeah. And basically we've come past, this is, well, you actually should be able to see the water's just there. So it's nice and low. There isn't going to be any problem about having water in the block, that's for sure. But yeah, there's a lot of digging to be done to clear all that bitty weed and willow and stuff out of the way so that we can make some sort of decent pond. It's only 5:30. We started at about 9 o'clock this morning, so I work longer on the block than I do in my own work. Here's Spielberg. Right, this is the worst piece. You can see the water. That's the old riverbed straight through there. It comes on an angle straight this way, and somehow the river's ended up off to the right here, and somehow we've got to make a road through here. So, this is not far from Pond 4. Pond 4 is basically over by those trees somewhere, on the trees in the distance. It's about there. And
just trying to get enough stuff down here.
Yeah, the hardest part is we've got to get a bank here at least end up to be 2 metres above what you're looking at there. So we're going to have about a 3 metre high bank
and the stuff
to start with.
Stays where you put
There's a lot of dirt to be dug, and we've got to get rid of all these sticks so they can't form part of the main core of the bank, but they can be buried underneath some of it on the bank. So it's not going to be easy, and we've only got a little bit of time to do it in. We've only just dug this hole, and the water's just fair pouring in. I don't know whether you can actually see it, but it's a torrent. There's no way that you can actually seal a bank when you've got well, crap like this. It's like Niagara Falls. So what you've got there is you've actually got below all that water, you've actually got that pumice clay we saw before, then you've got a layer of peat, and then you see the other clay on the top. That's Taupo's eruption in 186 AD. So there's a bit of geological time there for you, and unbelievable how fast that water's coming in there. It's just like it's just a sponge. Well, you're not going to seal it.
If that's the edge of your bank, right, like that, then it should be sealed. That stuff will seal on the top.
The top bit will.
If that's not going to leak you, that's like a water level.
Yeah.
That's the river level.
Yeah. It can't leak lower than the river.
If that goes down, then that'll dry out, but it ain't going to go down because the weed's not coming up.
Yeah. So you ain't going to seal it. So you're just going to have to protect the stuff on the top.
The thing is, you're never going to seal it if we've got ground sluices in it either.
But you got that thing running, you?
Yeah.
Oh, turn it off.
Oh, you want to be able to swear, do you?
No.
Look, it's really torrent. Look at the clean water coming in.
The clean water coming here. You didn't bring a cup, we can have a cup of tea.
No, I'm not going to drink that stuff. But
I wouldn't.
And you can see the silt on the top, Dave, and the peat underneath it.
I
And then
think
you get
the
in
ceiling factor, you're worried about nothing.
Yeah. Well, if it was all like that with that layer of clay that you got there on the top, then we're okay.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
down there where you got really big, you know, when you hit the top, you hit the peak straight away.
Yeah.
That's the only section of road you may have to top up.
Yeah.
So when you talk about trucking shit down a lane, you're only going to do it in the last 100 meters.
Yeah.
You're not doing this whole bloody thing. The biggest cost is running the truck to me.
I think as long as the trees are out from under it. Really.
Yeah, we take the trees out from underneath it and we just roll the bloody bank back. It's the only way you can do it.
And if you've got water higher in there than in there, you know,
It will drain out.
Yeah, but it's if it's higher in there and it's trying to go down and out that way, it will actually take the dirt down with it.
Yeah, well,
Whereas if it's the other way around, it wants to lift it up.
well, it's just that we can't stop it.
Well, you can by having the soil in there. It's like putting a plug in a bath. When the water's running out, it just goes.
Yeah. Well, you can see how fast it drains through that bloody through the peat. So as soon as it gets access to the peat, it's just going to go straight through to the river.
Yeah. But as I say though, if it's going that way, it seems to block itself. It's like the silt running into the weir.
Yeah.
We're actually digging a hole and letting that in, so it's actually coming up, which it wants to do.
Yeah.
But when you reverse it, and it's like when it used to flood at home, the water would just come up through the ground, through the sand. When it got inside, we had to cut a hole in the stop bank because it wouldn't go out, because it actually reversed itself, and the weight of the water actually pushed it back down.
It's like a crayfish trap, it seals itself. You know what it does?
Yeah.
It actually compacts itself down back the other way.
Well, all we're going to have to do is just kick the sticks out of it and just roll it back.
The theory is, mate, you suck it and see.
Did you say that on film, mate? You're not putting that on the internet, you know?
Yeah. YouTube.
Yes, on the X-rated sites.
It's the digger working there on this 40-metre finger, which runs off the roadway into this pond. And this will allow an area for tree planting and nesting area for birds, because there'll be a channel on both sides of it. The whole place generally at the moment looks like a bomb site, and it's very hard for people to understand when they look at this. All it is a lot of push down willow, and even the machine operator sometimes has trouble trying to work out which way he's going. And we have been around the block in different points, putting paint spots and marks on trees and on the ground with arrows, using the GPS and a little bit of imagination, well, probably a lot of imagination actually, but that's what gets these developments done. And we'll probably come back in a couple of weeks and shift a few of those arrows somewhere else. But this area is so dense with willow that nothing would ever live in here. There might be the odd possum. There's certainly a lot of mosquitoes, and mosquito repellent is compulsory. And even in the cab of the digger, when you open the door, the mosquitoes just swarm out. And you have to spray the cab of the machine before you can even work on there. I certainly wouldn't like to be doing all this by hand. These machines are a real godsend. Neil Rankin's been developing wetlands with me for probably over 30 years now, and he knows all these wetlands extremely well, because as a boy he cleaned a lot of them out originally with his father. And you certainly do need a good operator in here to know what they're doing. These projects would be a lot harder to get off the ground without Ewan's enthusiasm and the fact that we just seem to like being in the swamps. And in my case, my wife is horribly forgiving of my time down here. But it's better to be down here than be grumpy at home, so she lets me come. Yeah, we're now breaking through to the riverbank. So this is like a little bit of a loop track from the back of the pond, curling around the river again, and there will be water both sides of it, with fingers of land for planting trees on, and bird nesting sites.
Recording now.
Well, this is pussy willow that Neil's getting out of the way now. It's ideal for the machine to sit on. There is no way any ducks can fly through this, and they can't even roost on the top of it. And it's just so thick through the swamp. It's useless. It makes the whole swamp use.
Yeah, we're just better off without it. It's just handy that we can use it for our construction.
The best part about it is the machine can run over the top of it.
Yeah. That's what from here when I was here on Thursday.
Yeah, well, this is how far the rivers come up underground. And these are the sorts of conditions, and they'll get worse as we get more rainfall and the river comes up and working. This is just the start. And that's why it's crucial we're working in the extreme dry period of time.
And we're doing it quickly. We've got basically, what, 2 months, isn't it? If we're lucky.
That's all.
And you said that they're going to drop the water in the weir.
Well, I understand they're going to take some of the front baskets out, which the weir will go down. Hopefully this month. But when the second machine's in here, things should start to move along a lot faster. I mean, once the earthworks actually start, then you'll start to really see where you're going. And they'll move a lot faster. The slowest part of any of the development is actually outlining the development by crushing the willow lines.
Right, so it's 6 minutes past 5 on the, what are we, Mary Day? 6th of February 2010. This is still out around at Pond 4. Pond 4's my is going to be about there somewhere. And this is a bit I videoed the other day on the 4th. And you can see one side.
This bank's got to be rolled back to the river.
Yeah.
There'll be 2 tugs at the bank rolled back.
Yeah. And then they're going to make another little low bank over here where the diggers crashing around at the moment, with peninsulas going towards the Maimai over there. So the distance between the Maimai and the river is about 85 metres. So it's going to make it a rather impressive pond area. It's about 100 and something that way, about 120, 140 that way, and it's about another 100 odd metres that way.
Approximately 7 acres in area.
Yeah. That's about where we stopped with the digger on the 31st, opposite Pond 4. That's the river in the background.
Yeah, well, the road goes back, or the edge of the pond goes back to about 20 metres in front of those trees.
Yeah, the reason why we're leaving the trees just here is basically we're rolling the bank back, but we're still going to be able to drive the digger along these trees when we want to work further downstream. That's basically on the dirt that we've got at the moment. All we can do is just roll it back and then let it dry out. Every time we roll it back, it's too soft to walk on.
Get out to sea, it comes to Lake Waikiri and around here.
It'll be huge.
So this is Pond 4, and we're looking at the what we've done.
So where the tips are, just make them wider for a start. For the first 10 metres, make them a lot wider, then go narrow, right? And then I can snake them out or whatever too.
And then you go little offshoots. Because if you're coming down a finger like that and you've got little lumps off there, that's where the trees go.
Yeah.
And the finger stays open, so when you're back...
Oh, okay. So I can have fingers coming off these tips?
Yes, just little, like you can put 3 metre lumps off the side.
Oh, okay.
And that way, that's where your trees will sit.
Oh, okay.
So if you were thinking about, if you were thinking this one, you put the bank continue on where it's going, and have this thing with a little tit on
And
it.
this tree will be on the finger.
Staggered tip.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because what that does is we can get a tractor down the middle to rope the slash.
Yeah.
We can also get a digger back down the middle,
And you can plant trees.
and we can plant trees.
Yeah, but you can't plant trees out there.
No, well, if you planted them on those tips now, 10 years time your digger won't get down.
Yeah.
So you just,
someone's thinking, eh?
yeah, we're trying. We're trying to get this visual picture.
Yeah.
That's the only way to do it.
And my mind's going to be basically over about there, front of the digger, that shiny piece of dirt, isn't it? Is this side of the shiny piece of dirt?
Yeah, it's about 20 metres coming this way.
And this is like a, and the outside area of the pond that we're not just building straight out ponds, we're doing areas outside the ponds, i.e. being greater than 40 odd metres from the actual basically because we're trying to create a wetland that ducks will want to come to. If you just have the ponds, it's not a very good use of the land area, and doesn't support many ducks. But if we can make the pond area big, including the outside areas, then we can support more ducks.
That's the whole point. So if you can get out there a little bit more, and we can channel around there, the birds will just swim in and out around the swamp. And as that water comes up, they'll be able to hit the swamp floor, and they'll be able to nest up in the back of the swamp. Because I mean, at the moment there's no water. The water's going to come up. But it
like that one there, I can just leave those trees.
Yeah, that's right. And you can take your finger on the side and go down the side. So you don't muck with all the trees.
No.
We want some of them left for sure, because they can be dealt with individually later on.
You know, this could be turned into a paradise down here, eh? Just land through here.
Oh, yeah.
It could be turned into a paradise. If you grow anything down here, this was pumped through here. This would be the best country in the whole of New Zealand for growing stuff.
That's why we're flooding it.
So the banks look really high, but you've got to understand that the water's really low, and you've got to imagine that there's going to be another foot of water, well actually 2 foot of water on what you're seeing there as being what it will look like in the season, and the bank that we've been standing on will actually shrink. So by the time the thing's actually full and the land's actually shrunk, we'll be looking pretty good.
It won't shrink as much as it looks up here at this moment. There's a lot of pumice in here, and a lot of blue clay.
Yeah, this is good soil. When we get further up into the peak, I mean, you lose 80% of it, but here it will shrink, but it's definitely good material.
So Shepherd gave it to Fish and Game, eh? And before Shepherd, eh?
Brought it off him.
Oh, you bought it off Shepherd, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then all this would mean this is Jesus. Jesus Christ. JCTV, JC, James, this one, eh?
And I've just waded through all this mud, and the only problem with being generously proportioned is the mud's super soft, and it's a bit of a handicap. And unfortunately Dave's super light and can walk on water, at least he thinks he can, and he can just hop over this stuff. The loud ass like myself has a bit of a problem. And this is basically the end of these fingers. The bank is going to be that's the actual main river bank is over there, and as I said, this is a finger of land, utilising the fact that this is the old riverbed. We've come down this neck of the woods to create a whole lot of sort of habitat areas where the ducks can breed and fossick around, and plenty of edge material so that they feed off the edges of the bank, and essentially that's what we've got here. The digger driver is going to come down the centre of this piece just here. The main river bank is just over there. He's going to come down the centre piece here then create a series of islands and extend the tits off the end here as he walks back, and then we'll just wait for the ground to harden up, and then we'll pretty it up after the essentially you get a much better idea next year when we see where the water level actually goes to and how much it does actually sink down. This material is better than the stuff up the back, which will be all peat, and this stuff is actually quite good. Looks like a bomb site now, but trust me, next week it'll look even worse, and then it should get into settling down. It should look pretty good.
So you're making it so you can
You can even do better than that.
you can clean it out with a digger and all that too, and grow trees and everything.
Yeah, well, I mean, as I said, people think they can come down here, make a big round pond.
And apparently female ducks don't like looking at each other, so I've been taught.
Yeah, for breeding, yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, down here, I mean, there's so much material, you've got to get rid of it. You can't make just a big open pond. And if you put 20-ton diggers in here, they'd still be in here.
Oh yeah, you could. If you wanted to dug out with 50 in here, they have to move it back how many times?
Yeah, they'd be rolling it over 6 or 7 times.
Yeah, it'd be crazy.
And the banks would be like 10, 20 metres high.
Well, unless you've got a big conveyor belt on a digger in the middle there, or something like a bulldozer up here, conveyor belt. Yeah.
But it's,
and basically the fingers are where we're hiding all the trees.
it's the shape, and it's also the potential that it gives the pond a bit of character.
Bloody I had aeroplanes and bloody helicopters flying over today. White helicopter.
Probably environmental work here to take photos.
Yeah.
Okay. White one?
Who knows?
Oh, God
White
knows.
helicopter.
God knows.
With a boom underneath it. I thought it'd be...
I might be spraying.
Might be spraying. That'll be the dopey Department of Conservation spraying the willow and killing everything else underneath.
Well,
Now here's one for the occupational safety and health people. Will be having 50 fits because I'm sitting on top of the bucket. It's a long way down, I tell you. But next week when we get rid of the trees, I might do the same trick. But that gives you a bit of an idea of what we're trying to do. It's a bit difficult because I'm trying to hang on at the same time. But it even goes down through there. That was where we were doing the 40-metre finger last week. So just an idea how high up we are. The digger driver looks rather small, doesn't he? My is back that way. Alright, that was looking over where we were standing and recording last week, and we were sort of standing next to that tree out there, and we were looking out over a jungle this way, and you can see the digger in the background there. Well, the mai stands sort of just in front of that on that sort of shiny mound, and these are all the fingers on the end, and we'll pretty that bit up when we come back. And we've already put ducks off this morning when we turned up, and you can see the bank in the background about there. That's actually there will be the riverbank road. So we followed a narrow old river path down through here because you have to move less dirt, and the trees are smaller. You can see the trees in the background here are very small, whereas you go over here and the trees are bigger, and the bigger the tree, the more problem you have trying to get rid of it, hide it. And we've had people come down here, university types, who say, oh, get a bloody D8 bulldozer in here, push all the trees out of the way. Well, it's fine if you could actually get the D8 bulldozer to actually get some traction in this place, and then you're left with a big mountain of dead trees everywhere, and nothing for the digger to stand on. And the main riverbank is actually going to be over there. Sounds like my digger driver's turning up. And this is, you can sort of see through the trees, I hope, but that's where we've managed to get the bank to so far, but it's going to go back another 20 metres from there. And the idea of leaving some of these trees, and so you could always go and plant trees, but if they're already here, you might as well leave them. And so you can see the banks are tapered. When we came last week, they were a bit steep, and they weren't quite wide enough. You need to have it wide enough that you can get a tractor down, turn round on it, and you want a nice gentle slope. The water level is going to be another, and the season will be, this is 3.3, and the season you'd expect it to be about 3.9 up here, so you can add 2 foot of water to it, so that's quite a bit. So the amount of land that's going to be left poking out is going to be pretty slim, especially when the land that we're standing on at the moment, or at least I'm trying to stand on, is pretty soft. And as you can see, I've floundered around, something to do with being generously proportioned, but the land will actually sink. And but yeah, so far it's looking pretty good. I just thought they might have done a wee bit more, but yeah, not bad. Alright, now this is more of a duck's eye view of what's going on, and you can see this big mound that we've got here in front of us. That's where the Mai's going to go. It will get slightly smaller than that. At the moment, yeah, there's a limit to how high you can actually throw the stuff before it starts oozing back down into what you've just dug. So there's a limit to how high you can get it up. And so what we've got here is we've got a big mound, and then when it hardens up next year, we'll come back and dig a little bit out of these. I've got to be careful here because I'm standing in the bucket. Dig out of these bays here and throw it back. And you can see the feed area that we've made right in the distance there. That's where we were videoing before. And essentially the digger driver is actually going to go back down through the centre part here and throw some of this dirt back onto these tits that we've created and make the through in here. Oops. And basically might be a little bit of double handling in the centre there, and then this bit here is going to be thrown back to you see where the bank of dirt is on in the centre there. The closest bit to the far river bank is where it's going to go to, and then more work here. Oops. Bit of gap in the commentary here because I'm trying to hang on at the same time. And that's back on the 40 metre finger, so we'll be digging down that way as well. Ooh, good time to get cramp in the back, I tell you. Yeah. swearing because we're on film. Okay? You're going to the world. And it's very hard when you're at ground level to actually get a good picture of what's actually going on. But
You want to be up high?
well, we will do later. But
Make it short and brief.
yeah, it's looking pretty good. No, they've got to be in the one spot.
Well, if you put some bushes in here, put some tea tree up here, and you can jump in the tea tree.
We still haven't got the 40-metre fingers over there.
The water's down though,
And it's not there.
It's not fucking down 900. So the percentage has dropped you from when we started doing?
It's dropped about 6, maybe 8 inches. But you imagine this is going to have, it was 3.3 the other day and it's down about 3.1 and a bit or something. And so it's going to be 3.9 roughly in the season. So you're going to have another 2 and a bit foot of water on here.
Yeah, that's right.
That's quite a bit.
Is that about 650 mils? Yeah.
600 and something. 700 and something.
Yeah, so that's quite a bit on top of this then, isn't it?
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah,
no worries, eh? It's I knew that. It's going to sort of...
The weed will still grow on that ball. So you might be able to grab some.
That one there?
Yeah.
So, and we've still got to cart back the bank a little bit over
You
here.
probably did it too blind, Paul.
But yeah,
What
it's
you
looking
might
pretty
be able
good.
to do is put a bloody tit out there.
Yeah.
When you go back along there, put a tit out there so you can get out there and do it.
Yeah, okay. Over there, there's about
You'll
there's
get
6 feet of peat just on the other side there,
Yeah.
and then these bloody
Pumice.
blue shit starting going to blue shit.
But this is a classic example of what's happening with the pollution or silt pollution in the Whangamarino River.
Yeah.
That top layer, that's only been there since 1958. Prior to that, the river used to be clear, and if you ever want to stuff a wetland, sticking silt in is a pretty good way of doing it. And that's the best part of, I don't know, 8 inches worth of silt on top of that peat. And every year when the water floods over here, the silt settles down, and you add 2 or 3 mils to the total, and it builds up over the last 50 years that that's been happening. And the end result, you've got silt in your wetland, and it turns to dry land real quick. So if you want evidence of it, we're only about just over 100 metres from the riverbank, and as we saw evidence further up, but it's the higher up you go, the less time there's actually silty water on it, so the layer of silt is not as high. But yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
How much is going now? Yeah. 3/4 of the way up there.
Is there many stumps in there?
There's a few.
Oh, yeah.
This is the entranceway in, and we actually had to go off to the left last week because it was too wet and boggy, and the water level has reduced considerably. It's amazing what 6 inches drop in water will, how it makes life so much easier. And hopefully the water level stays down for another 2 months, but that's a big hope, I think.
Yeah, I can do. It's probably not that.
Alright, it's the 20th of March, and we're at the eastern end of Pond 4. Still a little bit of stuff to do here when you'll see it once we make the bank, because the dirt for the bank is going to come from this material just in front of us here, and it's sort of looking it's hard to tell from this perspective, but I've got a mate who's got a helicopter who's coming up for a fly around, and so hopefully Monday I'll have some aerial pictures to give you a better idea what's going on. And just note here the water on this side here is level with river water, but in contrast to that first bit of dirt you saw where we dug down, the water just screamed up. the water in the back here is much lower. Eventually it'll all level out and things when we connect it all up, but the ground here, the water level is going to come to about, you can see a line of roots, well, just down in here, hard to see, but the water level's about there. I'll give you a better indication. Is you can see this piece here where the little bit of grass is just there, well, about 4 inches below that is about the current water level, so that's looking pretty good. And the idea is to leave some of these trees in this ground level at without any work in it, because the water level will be higher than that during the season, and hopefully when the bank seals up a bit, the speed at which the water goes down will be severely reduced, i.e. the ground will clog up a bit more, and we should have water out under those trees during the breeding season, which would be really ideal. And should be dramatically different in 2 years' time. A bit too slow, but ducks just landed in our development already. And digger drivers are telling me that there were quite a few in here there yesterday. So some of the cabbage trees we managed to salvage, and we're standing on the Mai mound at the moment, and when the ground hardens up we'll probably bring the digger back. The ground will harden and it'll also lower a little bit, so we'll bring the digger back and we'll burgle a bit off the tip of that peninsula and put it back, and the same with this one here, and it should make it look pretty good. So the thing that's deceptive here is the fact that the water's still low and the ground is yet to shrink, and it takes a bit to understand that. So, yeah, it's looking pretty good. Digging ponds is the hardest way of doing it. If you ever do a development, if you can, you just want to have a bund wall and put the water on the top, and it's a lot more cost effective, but the conditions here didn't really allow us to do that. We had to dig it all, and it's very very expensive, but worth it. You know, this wetland will be here forever. And you want evidence of it shrinking. This stuff hasn't dropped in height, but you can see all the cracks in the ground here, and this was actually level with no cracks in it. And if you worked out how many square inches or cubic inches of gap you've got here just in the surface layer, and realise that this stuff, once we put a bulldozer over the top to smooth everything down, will drop by quite a bit. Some more cabbage trees, and that's the Mai position. The idea is to create the fingers so that you can dig it down and clean it out at a later date. So, yeah, it's looking pretty good. This is at the western end. A duck came in to land in here and I got a bit, there we go, I got a bit deceived. Just sitting there. It was actually, that's the third. Well, the ducks were put off the place. I knew they were here, but I got deceived exactly where they were. So, and yeah, it's quite amazing. There's not that much food here for them, but they're still using the place. So next year, Dave and I are planning to do a millet run. We're going to chuck a whole lot of millet around and hopefully provide some food for them while the earth's bare. There's no real preparation. All you have to do is just chuck it on the ground. Some more wildlife. A couple of perries. And this is from the riverbank side, and some of my site in the background there. But well, you got to do some double handling in the process. You can't just do it all in one hit. But if we take these peninsulas back a little bit, and this one over here back a little bit, and it should make for a very effective looking pond. Just to give you an idea, most ponds aren't even as big as this from here to the my site, let alone all the rest of the area around the outside. And the pukekos, you should be able to hear them in the background, already getting to use it. It's a bit of a marital dispute going on, I think. And quite a contrast to when I first came down here. And all I saw was a couple of fantails. I've seen about 6 pukekos and 1 hawk, 3 perries, 3 ducks. And that's just today. And just to give you an idea, we've only been doing this for a couple of months, and look at the regrowth on the bank already. And it always makes you rather amused when the environment Waikato people say, oh, you need to grass the banks, and I think it's a motorway development, not a wetland. They don't know the difference, that the place is just one giant seed bank. And regrowth is going to be the biggest problem.
Water level in this pond's come up, so in reality, the height of pond 6 is exactly the same.
Yeah, what we're raving on about is that the banks in pond 6 look enormously high, right? Well, these looked enormously high too, but then you note that the water levels come up, and it makes it look as though the banks have come down, but in reality the water levels come up. And just as an idea, this doesn't look anywhere near as high, right? And then compare the water level here with the water level on this side of the walkway, and it's a lot lower. And effectively, the water level over here is at river level, and the water level here is sort of what you were seeing in pond 6, and you can note the height difference between the water level and the silty line layer there. That's the amount of water that is missing from the equation, if you like. So if you take a line from here around, following it with the where it is, the water level
that's good, but I'd like to see more of that push back into that swamp.
Yeah, well, Dave, we just need to...
Anyone out there listening?
A bit more cash about this.
I could burn it up down here real quick.
Yeah. I think we should go and stand on that Marmite mound as well, because
yeah, we get a bit of clean rainwater.
this is up by pond 2, and the bit that Dave's raving on about now is that this water here is from the back of the swamp, and it's rainwater. You can tell, even though it does look dirty, that's the dirt is actually the dirt at the bottom. But you see how clean it is. You can see the leaves through the water, and then you look over here, and it's vastly different. This is semi-filtered river water. That'd be the best description. In actual fact, I think, Dave, we're still not quite to river. We're still not quite to river level. That river level is still another. It's still got about another water level here. Still got about another 4 inches to go just to make the river level.
It's going to really work well. When we dress the ponds up a bit, all those issues.
Yeah. I think
the water makes a hell of a difference to the visual effect.
Yeah.
The optical illusion when you've got no water and high banks. To the naive people who come down here and make comments, it's quite unreal.
Yeah. If anything, they're not quite high enough.
Yeah. Well, they're never high enough in a flood, that's for sure. No, this is good. And if you can ever picture enough oak trees and planting around here in 20 years' time, you'll be looking at a totally different picture again.
Well, that's the problem when you bring people down here. They lack vision. They don't see what it should look like.
Yeah, I know. It's very hard. We don't all think the same. Thank God. We would have a problem.
We're on pond 4, and this is at what we reckon is the water level that we want the overflow set at. And as you can see, as we predicted, that the banks went
vanished.
Humongous. If you look back in some of my earlier photographs, you'll see this section here where it was dry. Looks totally different now. It's full of water.
That's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah. And I can swim underneath the trees. Perfect.
But even when you thought the banks were too high, we need to build these up now.
Yeah. We'll just have to flog the dirt from that tip in the front there. My stands over there. And yeah, that's looking pretty good.
What's this, the 19th of June?
Yeah. Yeah, where are all your ducks, Dave?
3 o'clock. The only people in this swamp are you and I. We still will roll them.
Yeah. Probably this one just here, I think.
In the middle, yeah, so there's a bigger gap between the other two, even if half of that vanished.
See, if we burgled the dirt off that and we pushed it back that way.
You can take half of it off. I mean, you'd only clear that channel out there and get their boat through there. But you only need a boat with clearance.
Yeah, well, they can go that way anyway.
Yeah, they go around that way.
See, if we just, where that tree is, if we just plant a whole heap of like 3 or 4 bloody pinnocks and just have that as an island, that'd look quite cool. Well, we had a little bit of a problem now, battery, running out of battery. But yeah, this is oh. It's so deceptive, eh? It looks so different now that the water's in.
Yeah.
Even our bank that's along there is all underwater now, and that's just going to drop. That's going to drop more.
Well, when we thought we'd have to move some of these peninsulas, looking at it now, you'd think, well, you don't have to move anything. Quite strange, because there's a shitload of open area and a shitload of water. There's no shortage of water for birds. And we were going to pull this in here and build this mound up a bit higher. But they've got a very good slope on it. If we can keep the slope, but it depends how it comes back when it's dry, that's all.
Well, it's still cracking quite a bit, eh? I think we probably will pull it back a little bit, but we'll keep the same slope.
Yeah, I like the slope. But this water level is good. Well, this is a 4.1 metre, so it's...
This is it in actual full position. So
400 is what our ground sluices are going to be at. So she'll go down 4 inches.
What's it?
She'll only go down 4 inches. If we're looking at 4.1.
4.1, yeah.
Yeah, well our ground sluices will be 4.
Oh, I thought it was 4.1.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, well maybe I misread the...
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But that's only in, yeah. Well, as I said, last year the water level was 3.9, so you know, take 8 inches off that.
But it did make you think that you'd have to pull those back, but those small peninsulas, if they keep them clean, with low shrubbery on them and the odd tree further back, they'll be good little areas for the birds to get out of the water. Yeah, humongous difference. Well, I like the water. The water's got to be in the back of that willow, eh? Because the birds have got to come out of these ponds and walk their way back into the back. That's why I'd like to cut some more lines, just to swamp floor level. So they've got some open channels they can move in and out of. And you need to move a boat in there. Because we've got to maximise this whole swamp the best way we can.
We'll just sit on the bank though, eh?
Yeah.
Hope it comes out because I can't really see. So we don't even get this in the central. Nothing like this.
See anything like this in the dune block? No.
There's no lunker flying in over there.
Well, they're just swimming around behind the island.
Yeah. But that's the advantage of having all these little bays and things everywhere. Now look at the willow weed, I mean that's just seventh heaven stuff.
Swim around and around that loop of trees as well. It's a shame we can't do more of that. But it all has to be on the outer edge.
Yeah. I mean this is just going to be
You got carrot grass in here and they can sit up on the edge of the lake.
We disturbed about, what, 18, 19 ducks so far, just on this pond, what are we, pond 14. And a few of the trees that we've left behind haven't handled the storm too well, so fortunately we can come and clean it out, but little wee nooks and crannies like this is are a real popular spot with the ducks.
Well, even that tree overhang, I wouldn't be worried about that.
Oh, yeah.
There's your bird. Man, look at what the water level is through that mud.
Yeah.
You see the water level on the trees?
Yeah. Clear as day.
Oh, yeah.
About a metre high.
I think it's real. The point is, without this work, we wouldn't even be here right now.
No.
You know?
Oh, 2 more?
Right alongside, sitting tight.
Yeah.
Those birds are nesting up.
They're nesting up because we had one there one to our left,
Both sides.
two there, and before I got the camera out we had two more take off just behind us.
There's another one come down on the front. I mean,
And the one up here.
there's
It's
two
hard
more.
to...
I mean, this block basically is
I
alive.
can't wait to come back here in November, eh? It's just going to be crawling. Yeah, see there's one in the bloody bushes over
Yeah, I
there.
know, he went down. But the whole point is, considering when I came in here and all I was doing was covered in insects, in the ring,
Well,
green raincoat, they
there's
probably
three.
thought I was
The
vegetation.
four, that's the teal,
You
but
know.
the other guy's still there.
And you can hear teal further around.
This
But
is
the ironic, you can see the watermark all the way across the earthworks. There's
Yep,
two
two
coming
more.
up now, and they're just going back down.
this is pond 4. This is the entrance rate coming into pond 4.
These river ponds are going to be something spectacular.
Oh, Christ. I don't even get this down.
Yes, there's two more going down off the edge of the river. Oh, I know. But these people don't shoot ducks down here. But I don't give a shit as long as they breathe.
Yeah.
But I mean,
There's still wants to come in. Look,
he's
there's
coming
it.
down.
It's coming down. This is pond 4. This is the first one we did. It's more likely to have the birds in here because it's got a wee bit more weed and food source on it. Yeah.
But what they love is these little out-of-the-way bays and drains. And you can hear them. I mean, those two that went down, I can hear them from here.
Oh, there's another set over here.
You know?
See, straight through there on the water.
They're quacking away. And these birds are all in nesting
there's
territories.
another one. Another one in the water just by that. It's hard without the glasses to see.
He swung around behind us. But the well, I mean, these birds that we're seeing here are breeding birds.
Yeah, there's
they're
two
going to
here.
produce broods.
There's two here.
Yeah, no, you can actually, I can actually see one. And they don't want to be anywhere else.
No.
And I mean, they weren't here 2 years ago. This didn't exist.
See, this one still wants to come back. Still, there's two of them.
So I don't really care what the critics
Straight
are.
in, straight in.
And the other one's going down over there. Look, just on the edge of the river. This one went down straight down here.
There's three. There's three over here.
But all the bays and banks and islands, that one's flapping around over in the water there.
Oh,
You see when
while we've been
Oh
yapping,
shit, there's one go out of there.
this one's been stuck in the corner here.
Yeah,
All the time we've been yapping.
probably got sick of our dialogue. I mean, what else can you say? I mean, yeah.
There's two.
Two more. And we're not even
They're
near
greys.
them. Yeah. There's one swinging in behind you, look.
Yeah, another one coming in here.
Oh yeah, he just dropped straight into the water.
Oh,
there.
it's two more that
two
we
more
didn't
things.
see.
Yeah. This is actually what makes all this worthwhile.
Yeah.
I mean, you might shoot a few birds, but
And that I can still hear them yapping to the right here.
it's just the fact they're here. Because 2 years ago there was nothing here, and you
But hard
can
to
listen,
see
you
on
can
that.
hear them all over the place. So. Not super huge numbers, but multiplying it across the block and the broods that could be produced.
Yeah.
It sure as hell is a good start.
Two more down
They're
here.
coming in behind us. Look, there's two coming right over my head.
Three.
That's three. Well, there you go.
These are real ducks.
Yeah, they are real nice. I'm very happy to be here. I just, no. As I said, it just wasn't here. It was
Two
just a
more.
will of invasion.
There's
Yeah,
two
they
more
just
in the
dropped
corner.
in. I'd hate to think what you put over if you went over there.
Yeah. Well, we're about to find. Look, there's one on the bloody bank.
Yeah,
See
there's
the
quite a
one?
few running around on the top, yeah. I mean, but this just didn't exist. And I mean, the dollar cost doesn't matter.
I don't care. It's somebody else's money.
Well, it's the whole point is it's the feel good factor for the hunters, and really any of these blocks should look at. Wait a minute, shit.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's about 12.
Yeah, no, easily that. And more. There's more sitting there too. I didn't realise there's that many.
No, neither did I.
And that, as I said, that's a pond that's been here 2 years. And there's one taken off over there. And he just dropped over the other side. He didn't actually go very far. He virtually flitted over the top of the bank and dropped. That's the whole point. If they don't have to fly away, they stay.
Mm.
And I mean, it's just somewhere for you to take your family and have a good time. Ducks are very much a side issue in my book.
It's hard to show on the video, but there's two coming straight through. Mm. Mm.
It's just
I'm really tempted to get that high definition one.
camera.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, there's another one.
You could use my camera.
It's not waterproof though.
Well, what? I won't let you fall in the water with it.
Yeah, right.
I'm the one that's going to fall in the water with it.
Do you think if we walk down there we'd put up a bit more?
I have no idea.
I reckon we will.
I guess the odds are that we will. I just, but that's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a very short term. There's not a lot of regrowth cover,
No.
and these birds are here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you could rear 400 birds. It might cost you $100,000.
It's still there. See, we had how many? Half a dozen say take off and see
I think we had
straight
more than that, actually.
straight through the bloody tree there. There's
Yeah,
two of them.
still in-
There's three. There's three of them sitting there.
Yeah, we haven't disturbed them all yet. Actually, you can tell the difference. The hard bank we're coming up on.
Yeah.
But this was the side issue track we had.
Yeah.
Really worked out well.
1, 2, 3,
Right,
4.
Yeah, 5. There's be more sitting over there yet. There's 3 coming out over there. 2 coming to your left. Look at this one coming straight back in.
Yeah, they do. We stand still, they won't even see
I'll
us.
just go down here. That's a nice spot to be. We can go. My dogs would be going apeshit.
Oh, you haven't seen it. You see on the bank over here.
Yeah,
Straight through the
Walking
stuff here.
around.
There's 1, 2, 3, about 4 or 5.
Here's another one coming over the. He's coming down too. Look. Yep, this is where I want to be. I'll just circle around and drop him here.
Yeah, there's 4 sitting on the bank, maybe even more.
Yeah, but look at him going down.
He's coming down to see his mates.
Yeah, I mean that's.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what else happens, this just wasn't here, and this is somewhere for people to go, and you can have a good time, and it's free. Look at this. Oh, it's a
Oh, it's a
shag.
shag, yeah.
But all the same, you know, it's they don't care.
It's a rare endangered species.
Well, they're protected anyway.
Yeah.
And I mean, they wouldn't have had any with land in here before.
No.
Holy hell, there was nothing.
Yeah.
So I mean, when you consider
There we go.
this bank's
8 coming up. No, more than that. 10.
Holy shit!
I have no idea whether this you can see it on the
Yeah,
video.
there's 10 of them coming out. Man. And there'd be a lot of sky busting going on. But I mean, that's...
I've no idea. I can't even see. I should have my glasses.
It's just brilliant. Like, you know, when we came in here 2 years ago, all I got was covered in insects because I was wearing a green raincoat and I thought it was new vegetation. I'm bloody sure that's what it was. And I mean, you work it out. This just wasn't here. And even if we did nothing more than this, we're actually producing waterways, breeding habitat, and access into a willow-infested swamp. And I mean,
2 more down.
doesn't get any better than this. At what price do you actually put on the wildlife anyway?
Not only on the bank, they've got.
Oh, look at that. Oh, fucking look at that! Holy shit!
Hey, we can't have the swearing, thank you very
I'm
much.
sorry, but yeah.
Now you better start counting.
I'm a little gobsmacked for that. Yeah, well, they went in so many different directions. I couldn't get them. I was a little gobsmacked over that one. Jesus
Oh
Christ.
shit!
Yeah, I didn't realise. I knew there was a few.
Yeah, I saw the ones on the bank. They just don't do that on White Pond. Oh.
They don't do that on any of the blocks, man. That's what amazes me. Yeah, and they were happy.
They must have been about 60 years. Oh.
I can't believe that. And they're coming back too.
Hey.
Yeah. Maybe I have to move my pond down here.
Yeah, oh look at it, it's just black.
I mean, when I go to my pond and I see 2 or 3 birds,
Yeah, you think you're
you
bloody
think, oh,
happy.
that's pretty good. And when I have 5 shooters on opening Saturday and take out 30 birds, I think, well, that's pretty good. But when you look at what's down here, it's just unreal. And I mean, look at it, look at the sky.
I hope it comes out.
I mean, like, it's not 1,000 ducks, but what I mean is this has
Compared to
just
what
come
we-
off one pond. One, actually not even the pond, it's come off one little section of the pond. One side issue drain. You know? So, if they have an extremely good breeding season this year, you can multiply this number down just in this one pond.
As I say, I'd love to come back in November.
Oh, yeah.
Look at this.
I just don't believe it. And that we haven't even moved 20 bloody feet. And they're still coming in. They want to be here.
Oh, imagine what this was going to be like an opening weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah, I can hear them taking off
Yeah,
down,
to take it off.
down the river.
My koi carp's still here.
Yeah. But this is one of 16 ponds. Let's just get it right. But these river ponds, I think, I'd have to favour them myself. To be honest.
Oh, another one. There's another one right in front of me.
And of course, this is one of the best parts about our block not being
Oh,
disturbed.
2.
Not being disturbed.
Oh, and there's still 2 more way down
Yeah,
here.
they're sitting on the water. There's 3. I
Oh
think.
god, another 3 come up.
Yeah. I'm impressed. And that's the beauty of islands and bays and outside waterways outside of the pond. I mean, you've got to realise this is not totally developed for shooting. It's actually developed for habitat, for breeding, and from what I've seen today, it's actually working right the way we want it to work. I mean, how you shoot them is purely up to the shooter, but
Yeah, you can hang on to that and talk on. I've got an urgent meeting.
yeah, urgent meeting, all right. But no, this is all about wetland development, and it's all about ducks breeding on these areas that weren't here before. How you shoot them, well, that's up to the shooters. But the ducks are certainly here. Whether you can see them or not, but they're certainly here. Trying to pick them up on the screen, but
Yeah, I can't see because I've got my glasses on.
well, actually,
They're very hard.
even-
Hopefully it comes out.
even with my eyes open, it's hard to see.
Do you see that? They're still down there.
Down the
Still on
bottom
the
end.
water, yeah.
Yeah. That's the kill switch, isn't it?
Yep. I mean, we saw a lot last November, but they're nothing like this.
No, the numbers are really going up. Hugely so.
Hope
And we're very early. They're paired
Yeah.
up now.
Yeah.
Extremely early. And I
Oh.
mean, look,
I don't
they're
know.
right behind you. And I mean, speaking to the people from bird protection, there's one coming across the front here. They're saying that the birds, with the weather pattern, they could have 3 broods this year.
Oh, I bloody hope so.
I do. I really hope it
We're
bumps the numbers up
we're a
high.
bit short.
Yeah. And if we end up with the same weather pattern next year, we could end up with the same results, which is going to be a huge boost in numbers.
We got the camera out to record more because I turned around and it was just this is only, well, hopefully it comes out. This is only just a small fraction of what was behind us.
Maybe using my own camera. No, look at it. That's swan droppings.
Yeah. This is a family family show.
Family entertainment.
Defecation, I think.
And there's more of it over here too.
Oh.
But that's swan.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't seen a swan in here, but they certainly haven't just shit here and flown away.
No.
They're obviously living in here somewhere. And when you look at the nibbling of
Of stuff.
of this grass, swan have been through here.
We just have to be able to deal to this with a tractor.
Well,
All this bloody regrowth
I
shit.
think they spray it. But that's definitely swan, like down there, up here. Actually, when you look at that, that's actually a goose. See the colour on that?
Don't tell our conservation minister.
Oh no, sorry. It's an endangered species. but that other shit is swan.
Defecation.
They don't crap everywhere.
And this is the river road down by Pond 4. And I had one of them to come down here and peel a bit off this bank that's right in front of us here, but I don't know what's happened. Whether they couldn't get down, that's why they've left a big dump of stuff there to do it next year or not, I don't know. So. Alright, we're the 12th of May 2005. This is building up the river road, and Neil's managed to scrounge a whole lot of material. The material down by the river is really good because it's got a lot of pumice clay in it, and he's dug it quite deep but piled it up. And yeah, Locke's trying to retrieve a couple of eels that we found. Yeah, well, they swam away all right. And we've been down towards Pond 4 here. There's a little bit of a gap where we haven't completed it, but I'm sure that's the game plan for next week. And yeah, the hardest thing is getting enough material because just past Lock there, that's too low. And
oh shit, there's a lot of eels here, John.
we don't need that on the video, Lock. So normally they find their own way back. So yeah, but it's looking pretty good. So our drain, we had a drain through here, and I don't know what's happened with that, but looks like he's filled it in. This is the 8th of December 2012. This is Pond 4's just through there. That's the my site, and that bit of grass you can see just in the front there. And this is the water from the back. You can tell it's swamp water because it's black. And comparatively speaking, it's clean compared to this is the river water. And this is the Whangamarino River. And it's the Whangamarino River is just through those trees there. And we had a whole heap of rain yesterday, and about 70 mils in about 2 minutes, and the actual swamp itself is really flooded, So down here the river water looks this colour all year round, and the whole idea of this project is to have what effectively we've got here is a bank, and to separate the river water from the actual swamp water, so that we don't get any of this silty crap in the swamp, and it stays how it should be, pristine. But this is looking down towards Pond 2. Pond 2's away in the distance over there, and we're basically just flattening off the bank, so A, we'll be able to get down in the future, and B, we've got to get some gravel down here, and we're not going to do it in trucks, I don't think. The bank's not hard enough for that, so what we're aiming to do is probably get some tracked. You can get some trucks which have got tracks on them, and I think that's what we'll be using. So, but ultimately the pond water, which currently looks like this, will actually look like this stuff here. Yeah. Right, this is the 12th of April 2014. This is on Pond 4 where we started 2010 and now we're just doing the sort of a bit of a tidy up, because basically when you're doing it you can't throw the stuff back far enough. You got to sort of throw it back and then wait for it to harden up and then have another go. And this is what we're doing here to tidy this up. You'll see that mound of trees will disappear back that way, and we'll have probably another little bit if we can get out to it. That bit that's over there will also have a bit of a tune up.
I got him down here now in case there's a heavy rain, and you can tidy up, finish here, and you can finish off next year with 4 rows. But it's amazing, because that's as if that willow line, the river was all the same. So to come down here and work this out, probably you can't walk there.
Was this cropland?
No, it's healing.
We bought it.
Yeah. This is part of one of the shepherd plots.
Oh, I'll only be happy with that.
Much the season height. This is Pond 4.
It all fills up, and we get a reasonable little bit of rain as normal.
This will be black water. This will be black water, and this is what it will look like. Yeah.
This will be it. The river will be down,
and this will be black.
The flow will be up, and this will be exactly what we got.
Yeah. So give or take a few mils.
See how the islands have shrunk.
Yeah.
With the water coming up, the islands have gone down, and that's a boat ramp over there out the ducks.
Yeah. Well, I asked him to make it on an angle, so.
Flat right down to the water.
Yeah. And so what you're seeing here is what the pond will look like. This is Pond 4. Pretty much in the season, except it won't be this dirty, scungy brown colour. It'll actually be black, which give or take a few mil.
I don't think we need to muck around with it.
It's looking alright now, eh?
To be honest, probably haven't lost much advantage. It could be something you look at in 2 or 3 years' time.
Yeah.
You know, when you're doing a bit of maintenance down here or something.
But that's looking good. You know, if you had this pond, you'd be absolutely ecstatic. Yeah. But look how filthy dirty the river water is, eh? And even it's deceptive, because if we had a river at 4.1 come shooting season, because we've already got black water in here, it would still stay black. You wouldn't get the brown water coming in. So.
It'd be diluted down.
Yeah.
The other thing, if we had 4.1, then the Coxwood land stop bank would be underwater.
Yeah, correct.
Chances are we won't be at 4.1.
Yeah, will be less.
3, 8 and 4.
But this would be this level pretty much.
Oh yeah, this is going to hold the water at this level.
Mm.
From the back.
Yeah.
What's coming through will fill the front.
So.
I mean, this is just a burst from the river because we've had rain, but over the whole year the rainwater at the back will just push it through.
We'll win the deal, yeah.
And that's why it'll be different.
Alright.